All right, the wonderful woodpecker. I wrote this article about 10 to 15 years ago. My subtitle is Jehovah's Jaw-Jarring Jackhammer. I just love alliteration. Okay, so there we go. Job 12. Job is a great creation book of the Bible. This verse says, "But ask now the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this." Okay, giving God credit, credit's due. All right, so here's the woodpecker. In considering strong evidence for creative design, one cannot help but be awed by the engineering expertise displayed by our feathered friend, the woodpecker. Their determined drilling and tree tattooing, though seemingly relentless, serves to advertise their presence while defending their territory. It also aids in the search for the literally thousands of insect larvae and adult bugs needed daily to satisfy their ravenous appetite. In addition to controlling insect populations, the nearly 200 species of woodpeckers are very valuable in destroying insect carriers of many tree-killing diseases, thereby helping to preserve the world's needed forests. The woodpecker is uniquely and specially constructed for this purpose, as the following design features would testify. X-shaped feet, with 2 toes facing forward and 2 toes facing backward. Their foot looks like an X. The woodpecker is able to move up, down, and around vertical tree trunks. Most birds have 3 toes in front and 1 toe in back. All right, that one reverse toe is called the reverse helix there. But the woodpecker has 2 in the forward direction and 2 in the backward direction. Second design feature, stiff yet elastic tail feathers. Tipped with spines, these rebounding supports, like a tripod, are used with the feet as a tripod prop to hold the bird up while climbing or drilling. So it has the 2 legs, but then it has the tail as the third support. Remember, because it's got to stay there on the trunk, which is vertical, while it's almost trying to bash his brains out. Okay, which we'll see it doesn't do that. Okay, it doesn't actually bash his brains out, but if you look at what he's doing, he really should every single time. Number 3, industrial strength beak, stronger than most bird beaks. A woodpecker's chisel-tipped bill hammers wood at the rate of 16 times a second. Okay, faster than that. Nearly 1,000 pecking blows per minute. If you have one in your neighborhood, you probably get tired of that. Okay. 1,000 pecking blows per minute, a rate of fire doubly fast as a submachine gun, with an impact velocity of 1,300 miles per hour. Can you imagine, punching your nose into a tree at 1,300 miles per hour, over and over and over? Okay. Number 4, bone reinforced and cartilage padded skull. This is important. While drilling, the woodpecker's head travels at more than twice the speed of a discharged bullet. At this speed, over 1,900 feet per second, any slight whiplash rotation of the head during drilling would tear away the bird's brain upon impact. Right? His skull would just shatter. To prevent this, superbly coordinated neck muscles keep the head in perfect alignment with the beak during impact. This is every single time. The head and beak thus drive straight back and forth with no side movement at all. Shock impact is further minimized by special muscles in the head, which pull the woodpecker's brain case away from its beak every time it strikes a blow. Unlike most birds, which have their bill fused directly to the bones of the cranium, the woodpecker's bone-reinforced skull is physically separated from its beak by a remarkable sponge-like cartilage, recognized by scientists as being better than any shock absorber manufactured by man. This padding is essential to the bird's survival when one considers that the suddenness with which the woodpecker's head is brought to a halt during each peck results in a stress equivalent of 1,000 times the force of gravity. The head thus snaps back with an impact of deceleration more than 250 times that of the G-force gyrations experienced by the astronauts during a launch pad liftoff. They're experiencing about 4 Gs. Some fighter pilots, I think, can go up to 7 Gs before the body just gets nauseous and just collapses, passes out. But not a woodpecker. Number 5, slit-like nostrils. Now what's going to happen if you're pecking all this wood? What's going to be flying up all over the place? Both their long, narrow shape of the nostrils and their being covered with fine, wiry feathers helps to prevent the entering of sawdust, which could hinder the woodpecker's airflow. God's thought of that too. Extra long tongue, loaded with extras. This is not your your ordinary tongue. Again, unlike most birds whose tongue is anchored in the back of their beaks, the woodpecker's tongue is rooted in the right nostril, where it's also rolled up and stored around the back of the head when not in use. Here's the tongue up here in the right nostril, wrapped around the back of the head, and up through the bottom of the beak and then out the front. When in use, the tongue here, let me see if I can get that picture off because I can't read it. Okay. The tongue splits into 2 halves. It enters the skull under the skin, and then it combines in the bill, where then is forced out the front, okay, and then into the tree because it's looking for insects inside that tree. So here it comes, wrapped here, and then this direction, up here and underneath, and then fuses together out the beak. The extra long tongue possesses glue-secreting glands. This is some of those extras. Glue-secreting glands with which to attach insects, sensitive nerve endings, to determine the identity of the catch, what type of insect am my tongue touching, and is tipped with hard spearhead armed with rearward pointing bristles. So once it goes into the insect can't get loose. Okay, so this firmly secures the bugs, and then it scrapes them off in the waiting mouth. There. And you can see the serrated edges, the bristles pointed rearward on the tongue right there. All right? So it's a pretty nasty weapon. Evolutionists would like us to believe that the woodpecker's uniquely designed feet, resilient tail feathers, reinforced skull, shock-absorbing cushioning, coordinated neck and head muscles, extra strong beak, extra long tongue, highly engineered deployment, attachment, retrieval, storage system. All of this is the end result of millions of years of blind, unguided chance mutations. To make matters worse, the woodpecker's supposed evolutionary ancestors have left virtually no fossil evidence of their existence whatsoever. Where did the woodpecker come from? What creature did it evolve from? Do we see a gradual transition into these structures? We don't. The fact of the matter is that in an irreducibly complex system, which is an all-or-nothing system, nothing works until everything works. So everything's got to be fully formed and functional from the very beginning. The woodpecker must have been fully formed and functionally complete from the beginning, with all its specialized features intact right from the start in order to survive all that head bashing. That actually supports a creation model of origins, a design model, rather than a blind, unguided chance natural process model. Its incredible design is evidence not of the cruel, mindless process of evolution, but of a loving, all-wise, and intelligent Creator God. What did Job 12 say? Speak to the birds, and they shall tell thee. Okay? And the woodpecker has a story to tell.